Alright guys, welcome to the shop. Today I have a 2008 Pontiac G5 in here. We will be doing control arm bushings and both front struts. Let me show you. So here we have the two control arm bushings. We'll be pressing this one in. This one just slides in. It's held on by one bolt. Here's the springs loaded in the struts. They were purchased this way instead of using the spring compressor. I do have one. Yes, we could have done it, but it was just easier to do this. And the shop wanted to charge $1,200 for this. We're looking at $300 in parts. So with that being said, let's get started. All right. I take this strap, I wrap it around to help support the whole assembly when I remove these two bolts here. Remove these two, the whole spindle assembly will come out. It'll leave the strut hanging by the 3 bolts at the top that we'll get when we lower the car back down. And the sway bar mount will be the last thing to remove. It's this bolt right here. Remove that, these two, and the ones up top, and the strut and spring will be ready to come out. All right, here's one side disconnected. This sway bar link right here gave me a little bit of a fight. It's connected right here to the strut. You take a wrench, put it on here, loosen this, and these 2 bolts here come out. They are splined, so they will have to go back in the exact same way. See them splines in there? Splines on the bolt. So the bolts will go back in this way, just like they came out. All right, here's the top of the strut. You can see there's these 3 nuts here holding these studs on. Remove those, 1/2 inch, and the whole strut assembly will come out the bottom. Okay, now the car is back up in the air. The whole strut assembly is disconnected from the top. It's ready to be pulled out. Pretty well used. So we're on the passenger side, so you have to make sure you have an R at the end of your part number. That'll be for the right side. Now we can reinstall this by slipping this up in there with these 3 studs, and we will bolt her down. little persuasion. Remember, splines have to go back in this way. The hole is not perfectly lined up. I'll get a lady finger. Some of you may not know, this is a lady finger. You push this through the hole and it'll guide and line it back up. Goes right in. Well, since I had those bolts apart, I'm going to get some anti-seize. Put a little bit on the threads. So the next guy will have just as easy as of time as I did. Let's speed things up. All right, and there you have it. 2 bolts here, reinstalled. See both? Those were the splined ones. They go back in. Anti-seize on there. The sway bar reattached. The 3 bolts up top. I'll tighten those up when I lower the car down. The nuts are started. I cleaned the brake rotor from me touching it, getting it installed. These 3 are the last ones to be installed once the car is down on the ground and seated. And we will do the other side. All right, so the old nuts that were on these 3 here, holding the strut in, were 1/2 inch. Well, at least I thought. They were just severely damaged. The actual size for the new ones is 13 millimeter. Close enough, right? They're about the same. So put some anti-seize on them, ran them down once the car was seated on the ground. So the strut is fully seated in the pocket, tightened down, and that's pretty much gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna do the other side exactly the same way, and I'll bring you in when I am doing the control arm bushing. The reason that this is being done is this car went to alignment shop to get front end alignment after new tires installed, and the shop said that it needed new struts and control arm bushing. This passenger side already has a new ball joint, new control arm bushings, now a new strut. Tie rods are in good condition. Now the other side, we're gonna do the exact same, reinstall all that. Like I said, I'll show you the control arm bushing. Okay, as you can see, the rubber was already missing out of the bushing. It fell out as soon as I removed it from the car. Started it with this piece of brass hammer. Once it got past the race area here, I used a small punch and was able to push it the rest of the way out. Now we'll pound the new one back in. Put it in the vise. Get it started. Times like this, a press would be really nice. A little noisy in here. That easy. Okay, so I put a little PB blaster right in this area. Looks like it's made its way down in there. Let's see if we can push this out using this vise. Came right out. Very simple. Put a little PB blaster in the hole. And new one tried to take off on me. We'll see if we can't press this in opposite way we just did. Over, push from the other side. New bushings in much better condition than the old one. If anyone knows of an easier way without having a press, let me know in the comments. We're almost there. push on this side, and we should have it. There we go. All pressed in, both. You can see this pocket right here. The bolt goes up through here, goes through this bushing, up into the body. This portion goes in those two holes, and then the ball joint goes back up into the spindle. Air compressor. You can see right here the lower control arm bushing, the two bolts, one on each side that we just installed. They're loose. You don't tighten them up until you get the car on its own weight. Also, you can see right here the other one that goes up through the puck style. I'll tighten up the ball joint, and then we'll put the wheel back on and lower the vehicle down and tighten up these last two. All right, and there you have it. 2 new struts, control arm bushing, all reinstalled. Took me about 2.5 hours to do both sides. Savings of about $900. To be honest, the struts you could do in your driveway. Basic set of hand tools. You don't need a lift or air compressor, air tools. I did it for many years in driveways. As long as you get the loaded struts with the springs already in it, it's really simple. I'd give it a 3 on the skill level. It's always best changing all that stuff on your front end that you go get a front end alignment afterwards. Thanks for watching.